Welcome to the Bro Show Live, everybody. What is going on?
What's up? Cheers, everybody.
Hey, y'all. What's going on?
Happy December.
What's up?
I like the new backdrop, Tara.
Oh, I know. We've got plants. Or yeah, it's plural. There's two, so it can be plural. We're not out there. We're just little bits right now.
You know, I feel like everybody's got a little something going on. Painted and sequins. They got some nice red lighting there. I see Red's got some Christmas decor going on. Skibble's just got this whole blue theme, and
I just got the blank light going on, man. Yeah, man. You know how it
Put
goes.
up Christmas lights today outside. They're really colorful.
What? Did you put
You
the
did?
Yeah, I put them on my garage.
That's cool.
That's where I have an outlet.
If we did a poll with chat, I wonder how many people would choose that you were more bah humbug than Happy Yuletide.
Oh, I don't think he's a bah humbug at all.
No, I like Christmas. I just don't. I don't want to put out a bunch of crap because then I'm gonna have to put it away later.
No, you just leave it up for all year, dude.
So I put one string of icicles that are RGB controllable on the gutter,
Okay.
and that's it.
Are they attached to music yet?
No, that would be sweet. That would be sweet. I think you can get
easy.
ones like that, but these are just a little remote control, and you can change them from colors and.
At least you got the RGB
Animation.
ones. I definitely
Yeah.
see Baked if he's not being the bah humbug guy, going all out with lights and like having the
I
music.
thought about it. I was on the ladder, and I looked behind me where there's a big grass area, and I was like, man, I could make this a winter wonderland.
The
But
projector out there.
maybe one year, but not this
There's a
one.
lot of work. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a new rolling tray. It's French fries.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Nice.
French fries.
We went looking for a Christmas tree and we couldn't find any of them for sale yet.
They're sold out everywhere, man. I was gonna get a tabletop one. Sold out everywhere.
you guys should come a little farther north. There's plenty of them up here. But I will say, I did this for the first time last year, and I'll mention it again this time because we haven't done it yet this season. We're gonna, for the second time in a row, get our, I think it's $5 or maybe $15 permit from the DNR, and we're gonna go harvest our own tree.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, you can get them pretty cheap. You gotta go looking. You gotta have a saw, you know what I mean, and some way to haul it. But it's it makes for a fun like Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Putting on
Where
the
do you
boots
have
and-
to harvest it from? Do you have to go to like state land or something?
Yeah, I think there's rules for both state and national. Well, state forest and national forest. I'm trying to remember. I think last year we actually might have done the national forest. But yeah, we just drove up to. Well, there's three of them, or technically two of them. There's a Hiawatha and the UP, and then there's the Huron Manistee, which is kind of split between the I-75, I guess, if you will. There's kind of two sides to it. But yeah, we just go up to the east side. And
Huron and one the Manistee. You ever notice that? The one on the east is the Huron, and the one on the west is the Manistee.
yeah, I think they're technically the same, like literally titled the same forest. It's just Huron Manistee National Forest, but they are totally like separate. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if they connect at all. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I never noticed that the one on the west side said Huron. I thought it only said Manistee National Forest. I didn't know that it said Huron.
Oh,
Manistee.
I don't know. Maybe the signage is different, but
I think the one on the
there's-
east side says the Huron. I don't know if it says Manistee on that one.
Well, I
know
feel
it's
like now we need to pull up
just
Google.
literally I had to pull up a fucking.
I mean, there's definitely two different rivers if we're talking like major rivers that go through the forest.
Yeah,
There's the
it's
Sable on the east side and the.
side. Yeah, the Indian River is it the Indian that's going through the Manistee, or is it the?
It's technically the Manistee River. There's Little Manistee. The Indian River is more up in like Sheboygan, like Burt Lake, Mullet Lake, Black Lake. I think maybe. I think it connects kind of that whole area up there.
Petoskey.
Yep.
There was. I don't know if it's still there. One of my favorite, let's say, beef jerky spots, right? It was called Dublin's General Store. That was in the Manistee side. It was down off, I don't know, man. It was like south of Cadillac in there, deep in the forest, dude. You go down there, and then all of a sudden, there's just a little place to get, beets, corn, and, groceries. The whole inside was a big old grocery store. And there's just like so much beef jerky. Before it was like, all the beef jerky at those gas station stops, you know what I mean? Where you could like get alligator and all that. So like you could get ostrich jerky and alligator jerky, like all the wild game, like all the wild stuff, you know, and all, or exotic stuff. I mean, not wild stuff. That stuff's probably farmed.
You're not talking about that like cement block place that's on the left side as you're going up 127, are
Wait,
you?
pronounce that again. What kind of block?
Okay.
It's called Dublin. Dublin's
Cement
No,
pond.
cement.
Cement, sorry.
Cement.
Cement.
Thank
Cement.
you.
That's what I said. Sorry.
I mean, it's a brick. It's a brick building, yeah, but it's like
This is like block brick. It's block, like cinder block.
no, this is like that. This is like
It's on your, it's before Cadillac. So that's why when you said Cadillac, I was like, oh, I wonder if he's
no,
talking.
it's not off 127. This is more like this might be off like I don't know where it's off. It's north of 55.
Well, that place that I'm talking about has like ostrich and alligator and all kinds of craziness. Kangaroo.
Is it a normal jerky outlet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See. Yeah. This is so like for
But it's not a
reference,
gas station thing.
this is like not a jerky outlet.
Right.
This is
Okay.
like it's like its own thing, and they do all of the making of the jerky on site.
Nice.
I think that they import the meat or something like that, or they have another distributor that
Yeah,
gets
all
them.
that wild game type stuff you have to import because I don't think you can legally like. I don't know. I'm sure there's farms and stuff like that, but I don't think. You
Yeah,
can,
they're
like,
definitely importing the alligator.
Yeah, and I mean it was just really really good selections too, big bags or little bags or whatever, but at the time it was good pricing. But I see Daddy Red in chat, and that's why I know Dublin's.
Happy birthday, Daddy Red.
Yeah, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Daddy Red.
Happy birthday.
Daddy Red 75. Happy birthday, Daddy Red. I got a chance to go hang out with the family today.
Awesome.
Awesome.
It was over there. It was a good time. Yeah.
Do
What's
75
real?
dabs today?
I did not.
That'd be a lot.
I hope
That'd
Daddy.
be- Sequence, are you ready for that celebration, that 3/4 of a century dab off?
I think between us, we should all take 75 dabs. That sounds like a great-
Whoa. I'd be out.
let's do it. 1,
Jesus.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's like
There's
12
7.
a piece.
Yeah, about 12 apiece. Yeah, there's up to 12.
Easy, no problem.
Becca, we need you back.
Yeah. Next.
Becca, come back.
We back
I
at
need to know
Sparky
if,
back.
Dab for me.
I need
Or
to know
some
if Mama
spreads
Red's
that-
in chat tonight too, because
She-
Mama Red and I
she's
need to have a
watching Bravo.
conversation. Yeah,
She's
Mama Red and I need to have a conversation about Southern hospitality.
Ooh.
listening.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know the reference you're talking about, but I think everybody needs a little bit of hospitality these days.
She'll know.
Well, you asked for it, Red.
There we go. I'm gonna get it now.
So I have an answer for you, Red. I had to look it up. Originally, two separate forests. The federal government combined the Huron National Forest and the Manistee National Forest in 1945.
45?
Yeah.
Wow, that long ago? No
Yeah.
kidding.
'Cause
Crazy.
I'm sharing my screen. It's not that important, but yeah, I'm looking at it right now on the USDA website, and it's like Huron-Manistee National Forests, plural, and then right under it they show the two brochures: the Huron National Forest and the Manistee National Forest. But on each brochure is the Huron-Manistee. So I don't know. It's I guess technically combined at this point.
Interesting.
But yeah, literally two separate forests. We have three. I don't know. I like the Hiawatha the most.
I've never been up
The
there.
UP.
I need to go.
gosh. We need to go. Let's schedule a MBGS
I'm in, dude.
camping trip or something.
Yeah, I'm totally in on that.
Yeah, I'd be down.
June.
You have to give me a little break though on the camping thing. I need a little hiatus.
We are going to Boulder in June.
Hiatus in
Oh,
Iowa.
nice.
Or June? Oh shit, I think it's June. It's either,
Not
yeah.
June.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, the end of June. All right, very end of June, and then we're coming
Cool.
up like the 4th of July. I think is what's going on. So we're gonna
That's
be.
There's
that's some
something
solid
There at that
planning
time.
ahead.
You're walking to Colorado?
I guess we could do beginning of June, but that's chilly, especially up there. Late July is like the best time, but there's always any time.
I mean, honestly, like late August or maybe even mid-August is probably your best time unless you want to see the leaves. But at that point, like in late September, it starts getting cold. But I know if you go early July, you might start getting those like black flies and stuff. One time I did the Tequamanon Falls hike. It must have been like over the 4th of July or something, dude. I was just swarmed by black flies the entire time. It made
Played
it
the shit out of you.
Oh yeah, man.
Hey, Tequamanon Falls is fucking beautiful too. If you guys have never seen
Oh,
it,
Yeah, it
before,
is.
man.
So glad we went there.
And Pictured Rocks. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Picture rocks. It's a nice-
Flies are annoying, but when you're in Michigan, it takes it to another level. I don't know if other states might be the same way, but the ones I've been to have never been a problem like in Michigan. The flies are terrible.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of bugs because everything dies off, kind of starting at this point of the year. But man, some of that stuff just comes back with a vengeance. I've kayaked Pictured Rocks, but I've never hiked it. And I think they have I believe it's a 44-mile hiking trail along
Holy
the top
shit.
of it, and there's
Crazy.
14 different campsites or campgrounds. There's like maybe 2 or 3 sites at each spot, and it's all like, I believe it's first come first serve. I don't know if there's any like sort of reservation for it, but it's all walk in. You know what I mean? There's no drive up. There's different spots to park that might get
It's
you a couple miles away.
long. I mean, there's
Yeah.
room for everybody.
Yeah, man, it's pretty wild. That's something I'd love to do at one point.
I've always
That,
wanted to do something like that.
the another good one kind of closer to us is the Manistee River Trail Loop. So you can do I've kayaked the river through it, but it starts at, I don't know, it's basically 2 different bridges, and there's parking spots at both ends, and you can do one end to the other or the full loop. And I don't remember how many miles it is. I want to say it's like 14 total or something. Maybe it's closer to 20, but it's not crazy. It's something you could do in, I don't know, maybe one day, I guess, if you really push yourself. But it's a good like one night camping trip with a little hike, and I got some sweet cliffs and beautiful views through the forest.
There's it's called the Coast to Coast. I think it's called the Coast to Coast Trail or something like that. And it's a Michigan coast to coast. It doesn't really start on the East Coast. It kind of starts at the Asaba River, which could start on the East Coast, like if you kayaked in. So basically there is, I mean, you could very easily like park your kayak at the dock or, walk it up and stash it in the forest if you wanted to, and then take this hike. If you came in on kayak, but it's at the corner of basically Rollway and 65 at Rollway's campground right there. There's a horse trail on one side of the road. There's even a parking lot and stuff for all your horse trailers, or probably to park for hiking and stuff. And you can hike this horse trail all the way across the top of the state of Michigan here.
How do we know it's a horse trail and not a Bigfoot trail, though?
It's most certainly a Bigfoot trail. I will tell you that, because off of this horse trail is where Bigfoot sounds, sightings, smells are all occurring.
Bigfoot smells. That's the dank, isn't it?
Yeah, super cheesy with that one. Come to find
He's got
out,
trichomes in his hair and shit.
volatile sulfur compounds. Yeah.
Was it-
He's had his gypsum, is what you're saying.
Yeah, for certain.
Was it always a horse trail, or was it a railroad at one point? Because I noticed what they're doing a lot in Michigan is taking up the railroads and making them into like just long
Yeah, this
walking
is
paths.
like in the middle of the farmland of what is the pine forest up there, or I should say, this is in the middle of the pine forest of what is farmland. But it's literally, it goes along the banks of the rollways where they used to kick the logs down into the Asaba River and send them downriver to the bay. So super cool story. There's like all these little plaques and stuff along this like trail and campground, So I'm out there hunting and shit. I got nothing to do except stare at the wilderness and read these plaques. Some of these cool bits of information that I thought was like, back when the forest was old growth, they would be in there with dog sleds, and they'd be up in the forest, lumberjacks sawing down the trees, cutting whatever pine, oak, birch, whatever hardwoods are up in here, probably at the time redwoods and such, and they would, with sleds, haul them to certain areas along basically the rollways at the top of the banks of the river. They call it the rollway because that's where they would stack up all of the logs throughout the winter. And they would roll them down the rollway. And they wouldn't do that during the winter because the snow and the ice, the freeze and everything. But at some certain point, the river starts to thaw out, and they, have been saved late February or end of March, probably in northern Michigan, end of March, something like that. I could be wrong on this date, but they would, and send the fuckers down into the river.
All back out.
Speaking of time, Red, Becca's not here to make sure that you have something rolled, and we are approaching almost 18 minutes into the game. Oh, we're going to cheat tonight. We're not rolling joints. We're going to do bong rips.
I'm going to.
I want to do a get well for Spartan. We're missing him tonight. He's not feeling good, so seriously missing him. Hope you feel better, bud.
Cheers, Spartan.
Cheers, Spartan.
Yeah.
Pardon.
Get well soon.
And Becca. Becca's not feeling well either.
No.
Yeah.
Cheers to Becca too. So
Get well soon, Becca.
it's that time of year. Germs.
Yeah, seriously. And speaking of I don't know. I guess I'm going to try to tie both those topics. Jason Wish from Wishwell Farms. Check him out on YouTube. I think I brought him up before. He's this farmer from Ohio that just goes all over the Midwest and I guess the South is Florida and does all these hiking and like fastest known times and supported and unsupported. Does all these kayaking trips and checks out all these camping spots, and he goes all over Michigan. And it's funny to see someone that's not from Michigan doing this, but he really gives a lot of great info. I mean, he's like, all right, well, we're here at campsite 18. You know what I mean? Looks like it's good for maybe some hammocks, but it's not that great at even spot for tents or something. So we're gonna go check out the next one. And you're just like, holy shit, okay, if I'm ever gonna go camp the Manistee River or whatever, or the Osable River, whatever he's on, like I know not to go to campsite 18, so I was literally planning trips off of his videos. And if you guys like doing this kind of stuff that we've been talking about, definitely check him out on YouTube.
Cool.
So speaking of up north, what
Sorry.
were you saying, Tara?
No, I said I'll have to definitely check him out.
Well, speaking of up north, Sequence and I are headed up north to do a little hiking of our own, but hiking in the way of car and traveling down the Old Mission Peninsula Trail with some wine next weekend.
Nice.
Sweet.
But yeah, so that's going to be fun.
There.
Hell yeah.
It is really, really cool.
Old money, old houses, beautiful views. Oh my God, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it
Right.
is really, really pretty. So, and I love it up there on the Old Mission Peninsula. And
Oh yeah.
You guys have dinner plans? I'm going to bring up this Italian place again in Traverse City.
I already have reservations on Friday night.
It's so good.
Victoria Stella.
Yeah, dude, spend all of your money there. Seriously.
What do you recommend?
Yeah, dude,
Which
I-
dish?
I've been there before, and it
try
was
something
delicious.
new. Yeah, just for skill, just try something new. There's gonna be something on the menu that you've probably never seen on a menu before. You know what I mean? And that's where they got me. And there was nothing we had that wasn't delicious. So yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. Yeah, because that was the cool. It's actually, for the people that don't know, it was an old insane asylum
Sweet.
that they converted into a restaurant.
Crazy good food.
I don't know. This
Yeah,
What's it called?
Huh?
again? Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Trattoria Stella.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's delicious and it's really, really cool. And the last time I ate there, we had a table down this little this hallway into like an alcove. It was almost like the old rooms kind of. And they had like this old stone, like archways and everything. And our booth was like separate from everything. And it was awesome. So I loved it. And I'm looking forward to going back and showing Traverse City to him. And if anybody in chat has any suggestions on where else we should go, we're going to try to check out this speakeasy. I can't remember the name of it. Do you?
Oh, yeah,
remember
that's
the name of it?
No.
There's
So-
a speakeasy down there that I've been
It's a
to
little
before. That's
good,
cool.
like Asian place. It's called the Good Bowl.
Oh, okay.
That's a really good place. That was phenomenal.
Okay.
Cheers to a good bowl.
Yeah. And I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong, so don't cut me up. But that was the first time I tried pho.
Well,
Yeah, I say it right. So it was great.
that's cool. Okay,
Yeah.
the Good Bowl. That'll be easy to remember.
Yeah. And there's
Cool.
like shops and like these little winter kind of places right around it. It's super nice.
Mm-hmm. I'm stoked. I love it up there. It's just a little getaway, you know, just
Mhm.
something different from the norm. And of watching football, of which we have to go segue next into Go Blue
Go Blue, Go Lions.
And go Lions.
and
yeah.
Lions. Yeah,
Good weekend.
both of our teams won this weekend. And
Did you see the meme? Usually it's a fucking lion that's, you know, jumping over a rainbow and it says, "I want to die." That's like a very Detroit Lions thing from years ago. And today's thing, it had, instead of die, it had, you know, X'd out in red and it says, "Go to the fucking playoffs" on it. And I'm like, hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
It's about time to see that one.
Yeah, dude.
yeah, it's nice to see them do well.
This is the
It
best
is.
season I've had in a long time, man.
Yeah.
Well, most wins in a season I've had in a long
But
time.
definitely shout out to the true Big Ten champions.
Seriously.
No question.
It was really fun to watch them do well this year and play well, especially against Ohio State. That was the best.
Mhm.
I mean,
Practically
That
doubled their score.
I
That was
noticed
felt
that
good.
Nut Tree didn't join us for the program this evening. Is he licking his wounds?
Mhm.
No, they won and are whoever they played, they're into the playoffs.
No, they backed
Didn't
into the
play
playoffs.
at
They didn't
all.
play anybody. They didn't play anybody. They had to hope other teams lost so that they could back in rather than winning in.
Anything about that stuff?
Thank
all
you,
I-
Sequence.
He said
Yeah.
they got it.
Come on, Tara.
Just so you know, Tara.
Nut Tree laughing in the chat.
Did you know?
Ohio State backed into the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
They lucked in.
I don't know. And he's supposed to be doing work, so get the fuck out of chat right now.
Get off the fucking phone, man.
I'm so teasing.
Get back to work.
No, he was mixing up nutrients for me because we got a water tonight, so he's got something to do.
we were just like a half a second off. But yeah.
Yeah, I still got a water veg.
Yeah, dude, I gotta water everything tonight still too. Well, not everything, but one of my roses is completely dry, and so that's not getting automatically fed tonight.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just is what it is. Some work.
Yeah, we're still trying to narrow down our drop in of beans this week that we're gonna do. So
We just talked about picking up more clones and shit. Now you're talking
Oh,
about popping beans and
I'm doing that, and I've decided to do like 2 whole tents for like 2 pheno hunts.
are you a genetics golem? Like mine, my pretty.
No, you know what? Troy really brought in that tree. Troy, whatever. He brought up a really good point. You know, I learned all this tissue culturing stuff from work, and I think we're gonna actually like try to like keep like some genetics around, like library it. I think that's what I need to do because I have a lot of things that I really, really like, and I don't want to let go of them. And I think like tissue culture things might be the way. So I'm gonna try to look at it on a whole level if it can be done. I don't really know. I'm sure you can do it. I just got to look at all the aspects to see what needs to go into it. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't want to not have. So yeah, I'm going to bring in these clones and I'm going to pheno hunt some stuff because we got tents galore here. We're going to be tent city. It's going to be like San Francisco.
So, what? Let's say if you like some of these cuts, what are you gonna do? Get a little fridge? What's the setup for tissue culture?
Yeah, we are going to invest in one of the fridges. Yeah.
Underrated
Do you,
joke.
do you need a whole room? What do you need?
That's the other thing. So it's a sterile concept. So, you know, I don't know if this can be done without a hood. You know, I don't know. I got to do some research. I don't know.
You can do your own flow hoods. Like you can look into the DIY mushroom community thing, and
Yeah,
you can definitely
totally.
get down with those.
I just want to, you know, I just need to I need to do some research and make sure that the house isn't too old to introduce that kind of stuff. You know, I worry ventilation here is ventilation period is always big to me. So I'm like always worried about the vents, the ducts. And so I just don't want to take any chances and ruin hard work and time and money spent. You know, I need to make sure it's correct. So now, if we're talking about putting up this library at Bakes, then yeah, I know it'd be.
We'll
scary.
roll the dice with Bake's genetics, but not my own, right? Fuck
Yeah,
it. We'll
I just
figure it out with Bake's shit.
is
We
awesome.
might have to one day.
But yeah, I mean, like Nut Tree. was
Everybody
like,
has
"What
these
if
cuts
we
though, so if it works, it works.
Library for all of our friends' genetics? What if, we had this big fridge and we were the holder of the library? Because, we all talk about Spartan gave you the glue that you held for him. And we all kind of trade things to hold things for times if you don't need it at that time and don't have room, and somebody else might hold it for you. So tissue culture might be the new answer of doing that instead of, actually holding the actual,
Yeah.
We're gonna need you to get a generator, Tara.
Okay. I'm going to need a lot of things, but it's such a cool aspect when you think of all of the things going into it. And a lot of people are doing it. And I don't see a negative except, if you don't do it properly.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
second that, Tara. I think it's genetic preservation is one of the keys to what we're doing, and it's something that we cannot lose. We've probably all lost genetics in the past that we wish we hadn't.
Oh, yeah.
And if we had something as simple as a running backup somewhere, it makes it it's a safe way to continue on with a genetic library. I think it's a very, very smart thing to do, especially among a small community like ourselves. But I'd be willing to back up the backup. You know what I'm saying? I think a secondary backup is a good idea. Tissue culture is something I've been interested in for a long time. I'm not quite set up to do it at this very moment, but you bring up a good point about the generator. I do have a generator, so we've got that covered.
Well, it's not about just holding genetics and shit that you're not growing anymore. It's also because from time to time you're going to flub it. You're going to fuck something up.
And you need to make sure that it's too. So, by taking it down to the tissue culture portion of it, you're essentially cleaning everything up about that piece of flour that you have. You're essentially, scrubbing it and get back to possibly even better than it was before.
There's also this, is that if you go on vacation and let's say that your timer dies, okay, for your room that you've got your veg in, okay, everything that's in there is lost, right? So you didn't have anything in flour, but you didn't lose power for the house because, by God, Sequence told you to make sure you got a generator and you followed his sagely advice. So the refrigerator never lost power. So you're good to go.
Yeah, I definitely think this is, something to be looked into, and definitely on my radar and what I'm been doing.
Tara, what have they told you, or what have you learned about the scrubbing or the cleaning of a plant? Because we've talked about whether things for a long time. We've talked about whether or not things are systemic, like powdery mildew. But for something like Hopslatin viroid, I'm told that you basically have to bring it down to the singular cellular level to ensure that doesn't get carried on. Is that true?
So the way I understood it, yes, doing the initial tissue culture is supposed to clean it, revive it, get it back. But I think taking it all the way down to the meristem is where it needs to go to ensure if you've got any thoughts that your plant's got hop laden, take it down to the meristem. I mean, don't just do that one singular, tissue culture to subculture situation. Take it all the way down to the meristem. That's the portion I didn't get to at work yet. My director went down to her lab and did it, so I didn't actually do that. We were supposed to, but she had forgotten a piece of what she needed to do it to teach us. So I did miss out on that portion of the meristem, which is the way it was described is you can barely, it's like this fleck at the tip of a syringe almost. You can't even you need this high powered microscope to even possibly see what they're grabbing out.
Right.
And
so
what you are taking back to the initial very step genetics to the core of that plant. So yes, if you think, you've got hop laden, do the meristem all the way down. But if you got maybe a plant is not hop laden and it's just sickly and you want to revive it, then maybe just the tissue culture portion of it is just fine and you don't have to do the meristem.
You got to slide in that lady's DMs, Tara. be like, hey, yo, what's part 2, man?
She's
Tell her
really
to come on the show.
I've offered it to her. She's got an open slot. She's a very, very busy, because a lot of people are doing this. So she's offering classes. I don't want to shout her out with her. I think it's Deep Roots, and I'm not 100%.
I don't want to shout her out, but here.
I think it's Deep Roots. I'm not 100%, and I can't like switch over and check something because of my damn tech-tarded bull crap. But Rachel's a really cool chick, and she taught me a lot, and she was cool to hang out with, and she was super duper smart.
Hell yeah.
Well, we have possibly, keep your fingers crossed for us, possibly some bad news to report.
Oh,
Out of all those genetics that we popped, the Limarilla are not wanting to go. So there were 4 of them that he put in some paper towel, and everybody else was on their way. And these just were not going at all. So I cracked a few of them. And one of them sprouted a tail, so I put it in cocoa. And so keep your fingers crossed, but it's not, I don't know, it's not one.
oh.
So and that's the one that we were looking forward to the most, I
Yeah.
think, of course.
Do you know why? Is it a seed age thing or something, or is it just maybe like a
Probably
batch
about
issue?
2-3 years old.
Probably an age thing, I would
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah. That was kind of early in his breeding projects. But yeah, the rest of them are all sprouted. We've got plants. Some of them are an inch or 2 tall. So yeah, we're getting along.
Love it.
Yeah. Yep.
How are you guys growing them up? Because I didn't used to do this for the longest time, but I finally learned. Well, I guess I don't do the paper towel method anymore. I'm just putting them in like the peat pellets, if you will. But then of course, those go into a solo cup. I used to just bury them kind of to the top, so you get a lot of root zone or whatever. But if it's a solo cup, it's it's one of those things that we can use and reuse pretty easily, or just toss because it's so cheap if you really have to. And I realize I'm not always providing the optimal light for these seedlings. The once a year I pop them, and they tend to get up 4 or 5 inches before they really start stacking nodes. Sometimes the weak ones fall over, so I finally started burying them, or maybe only putting about 1/2 of a cup of soil in there, and then I can kind of backfill it in to support the stem if I need to. What's your guys' method this time?
Well,
You're just gonna grab your light, it sounds like.
I like what you're talking about because you're not going to overwater that way.
I do the same. Yeah.
I used to have that problem for Rolly, and then I just dropped my light, and then my stems didn't grow so stemmy.
Yeah, I just chuck these on a one of those like wire cages on the side of my tent, and they might have some T5s with like 1 out of 4 bulbs left in them. You know what I mean? It's just one of those situations where they're never getting the ideal situation or the ideal conditions. And next to that T5 with 1 out of 4 bulbs in it is like a 8 foot long, like massive 2,000 watt LED. So yeah, it's just
That makes sense. Yeah, I've got a Core 85. What is that? Optic LED Core 85 above it, and I don't know, it's about like 6 inches above it. They seem to be doing pretty well. That seems to be the optimal height for them, because if I have it too tall, if I have them up further to get like more even coverage, it'll just make them
stretch for it.
Yeah. So
I need to. I guess I could just walk around with the PPFD meter or whatever from Pulse, but I really need to invest in veg LEDs because I have technically 0 of them, even though I'm using one for veg, and all of my secondary veg lights that aren't that massive LED are the T5s, and I'm just like kind of sick of replacing bulbs, and know at some point I'm gonna invest into a veg light and LED, but I don't even know where to start with that. There's so many. Like, do you guys have any opinions on vegging LEDs, and strictly for like the smaller 1 gallon solo cup seedlings, clones, that kind of thing?
I use the Quantum Board, the 240 watt ones, and it gives me a 4x2 coverage. And I made sure that I got the one that I can dial in and make sure I keep it nice and low. But dude, I changed over from T5s years ago to it, and I couldn't be happier. So, and it's not crazy expensive like it was, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The B spec HLG is obviously very good. I'm
Mhm.
sure that
For a veg light, yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that your sponsor's got a veg light, an LED veg light in his lineup somewhere. For growing, I'm not familiar with all of his lights, but something on the blue spectrum. The plants really seem to love that.
I used 4Ks for mine, and I used
Yeah.
3Ks in my flower.
Yep.
Well, the HLG has the little tiny ones too.
The classic
65 watt and the 100
Yeah.
watt.
Oh wow, that is real small.
Yeah, yeah, you
They're
can grab those
affordable.
for seeds and put them in
Yeah,
anywhere
I mean
you
it's
want.
just they're just going in a 8x8 gorilla tent with an extension on the top, so it's like 8x8x8, I guess, and you can fit quite a bit in there. But I have half of it covered, and that's just kind of the bigger plants that are about to go into flower or mothers, you know what I mean? But I still have half of a space to cover. It's like, all right, just throw a couple small lights in there, something with efficiency. T5s obviously don't take up much power, but they're also not producing a whole lot of light,
For what it's worth, they run a lot more amperage than what you can get out of the LEDs. So you could like put more, like, I don't know,
daisy chained. Oh, I got so many of them daisy chained.
so like run a lesser risk of overloading your breakers or something like that. So I think we're running on our 2x4. I don't know, man, off the top of my head I can't think of what wattage they are. Maybe like 200 or 300 watt. They mimic a 300 watt. I think 2x4. You can extend them a little bit. They're Fluence Razor X, RAZR. I think it's a Razor X. It's the only 3-bar light that they have that's like a 2x4. It can be extendable. I kind of got them in another. What I liked about them is that you can actually they have like these sidebar clamps, so you don't have to just hang them. You can actually like clamp them to like a shelving type unit. They have like cantilever type of like a clamp, which I got, but they of course don't fit in the style shelving unit that I have. So fuck those, right? So I hang them. But yeah, they power my veg phenomenally. I really like them. I like that if I wanted to, I could make them a little bit wider, but of course it would like mess with the efficacy, right? Because it would turn a 2x4 to like a 3x4. You know what I mean? So, but
better if they're like smaller plants or something. You know what I mean? Like it almost just like
blade or something.
Yeah,
bigger footprint.
Crowd them in there.
Yeah, exactly. So we put our like 1 gallons under those, right? And then we like. Our moms honestly are still under metal halides. I'd probably go up and do a larger, more full spectrum.
What percentage or what watts are those metal halides running at? And
they run at like 350, 400 watt. They're on like these 600 watt splitter ballasts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I think it's a 600 watt ballast. So no, it's a 1,000 watt ballast or 1,200 watt ballast that'll run 600.
It's a number.
Some shit like that.
It all evens out.
Yeah.
And I run them at like 50%, something like that. So I think in theory they're all getting like 300 watts over a space. So I run like 400 watt metal halide.
How many of them do you have?
4 of them on a 8x8 footprint that is there to take care of like 16 moms or something like that. Maybe we have 12 to 16 moms, something like that sit there. And
does the spectrum get messed with for metal halides like it does with HPS when you start messing with?
Probably it's a lot more blue when it's at a lower watt. The higher is the wattage, the whiter it'll get in the room, but it's much more of a blue spectrum.
Because it's always better to have more points of light, right? I mean, at least in flower.
I'd turn it up if there wasn't for like heat issues and other things, right?
Yeah, those suckers produce a lot of heat.
It a cost savings, ways of like trying to manage the recent market and shit is turning down my wattage. Unfortunately, I don't know, because that room's not producing anything for me except holding my genetic stock, right? Like I'm not getting the flower out of it.
That's where I'm at with these T5s. It's just like, why,
Okay.
until
I
they
have a
just die.
question.
I mean,
So let me ask you
Yeah.
guys this: if you had the option to buy a light that you ran at 100% power all the time, or a light that you bought that's a bigger, like more energy usage, but you ran it at like 50%, which way would you rather do that for your grow?
are we talking multiple lights to make up
The
for the
latter.
same wattage,
Wait,
or just
what?
one small light?
I'd rather
Repeat
have
it,
something I
repeat
can pin down.
Yes, you want something that doesn't run at full capacity all the time, I would think.
I feel like I'm extending the life on the bulbs also.
Yes.
There's kind of a couple of little,
That is
How high
true,
is the
but
ceiling?
9 feet, 8, 9 feet.
I was saying the scenario.
Oh yeah.
Oh, in the scenario, you're fine. Let's just say we've got the 9 feet that you can use what you want to, so you can get them up high enough that you could finish them. But
And
would you
you
rather
blast
keep
them at
a
100?
light like overclocked at its top, or would you rather run it at like half power?
Depends on the setup. Like if I have a specific flower room, I'm blasting flower.
Right.
Yeah.
But veg, I definitely want to be able to dim it. But there's also the option of unplugging. Let's say you have 4 lights
Cloudy
in a
days.
row, you could plug
Yeah.
2 staggering, and you have like a good transition.
That's how we
Yeah.
all justified that T5 game, where we'd let like one would burn out, and it's like, well, I'll just make
Yeah,
it cloudy days for
yeah.
a couple weeks until I can
Yep.
get back to the storm.
Well,
Honestly,
for Growly, have you tried the LED bulbs for those?
I
You
don't
mean the ones that have
They
the
have-
dots in them?
Yeah, they have LED swappable T5s. They're a little bit more expensive, obviously.
Of course,
but
how
they're
much are
supposed
they?
to-
Because I haven't bought
me look
a
for
T5
'em.
bulb
Let
in
me
a
look for
long
'em.
time, and I remember how much
honestly,
the
I got the ones from
Spectralux ones
Lowe's.
were.
I got the ones from Lowe's, man. No special spectrum. Cool.
$30.
Cool versus white or whatever it was. I got cool, because it was more
Yeah.
blue white light than the amber or whatever. And yeah, dude, they're like $10 a bulb or something like that. It wasn't that bad
For 4 foot, 8 foot, 2 foot.
4 foot T5 LED replacement.
So like, you're in veg, so 6,400K, $25 a bulb for 4 foot.
Okay.
But that's LED, so you're not gonna have to swap it. It should just be a bunch of diodes. Here, I can share it.
I think
It's
the
just
special
HCG.
spectrum T5 bulbs are about that much, or at least they were. It's been a while since I bought them.
I know
I
most
would
LEDs
say
are
the
told to be
only
50,000.
time I ever had issues with like the bulbs overloading and like breaking my light, I'd say, or like burning or maybe almost catching on fire was when I had those LED bulbs plugged into them. So I say that also.
Dude, that's such a good like not Spitfire, but like story time question for everybody is who has had bulbs, light or ballast or anything like that start on fire in their grow, because
Never.
No, thank God. That would terrify me.
Yeah.
Do you have a fire extinguisher outside of your grow room?
I have
Yeah,
so
you should have a really good fire extinguisher.
You really.
So
I'm not
many.
even
One of
trying to
those,
be
one
funny.
that does electric. It
It's
does
an
everything.
ABC. You want
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
I just
I
keep
actually
a small
got-
solo cup halfway full of water.
I thought you
I
threw
got-
Paralight on it.
I got some hand-me-downs from work. They were getting rid of a bunch because, like work, you have to change them every year regardless.
That's awesome.
And I was like, there's some big-ass one. I was like, yeah, I want some of those. And then there's some little ones. And yeah.
Are they they're like certified for what, 3 or 5 years or something like that?
I don't know. I didn't even look at them. I just put them in the
They
garage.
come around,
But
check 'em.
Have you tested
Yeah.
any of them yet?
no, I should.
You
should,
can make
and you
snow
should
for
film it.
Frosty.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Frosty is snowy.
Dance in the
careless
sprinkler.
about that.
Please film it.
He could care less about that, he says.
Yeah. He doesn't like the snow that
Are you
much.
guys still replacing bulbs after one run? 2 runs?
Of
Is it
what?
One run? Replace bulbs.
Oh, HPS shit.
What is
Or-
replacing bulbs?
We don't
at
do
work?
that anymore.
Yeah.
At work, we just run them till they go out.
No.
Run
They
until
use-
they
they-
go
they-
out.
Awesome.
They used to
That's
change
so
them.
awesome.
They used to change
Dude,
them, I guess,
rough
before I got
times,
there.
man.
But now
Gotta cut costs.
Oh yeah, that was my. I mean, I was
Wow.
wanting to get them from them
I
guys.
just didn't see a difference. So it was like, and
Okay.
yeah, now it's
Okay.
out of control. I'm actually trying to track it. So
I
that
Have
I
you
I
done
want
any,
to track
meter
the ones
testing?
that go out early so that we
If-
can get money back.
if you're using
What?
bulbs, and you were big on this, I remember probably 10 years ago, the big question was it better to use a cheaper bulb that you replaced every single run, or to buy like one of those Hortilux bulbs, but then run it for 18 months and then eventually turn around and replace it? Which would yield? See, we're going
Dude,
back to like
I'm out
go-to-
because I remember this is a debate, but I don't
you
remember
this
which side of
debate.
the debate I was on. It's been
I'm,
too
I'm
long.
on
I'm
the,
out.
I'm on the go with the Hortilux and run it until it dies.
Yeah, I
Same.
would rather do that. Plus fire risk. I'm
And
not
honestly,
using a
honestly,
1,000-watt bulb that's cheap, like AKA Chinese or something. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not gonna be like, all right, I'm going home, lock up the grow,
Same with
and
the
just
light. too.
feel good about a Chinese bulb running 1,000 watts at what? I don't know how many degrees those bulbs are.
You're
Well,
getting
I want to
canceled,
grow
babe.
fire in my grow room, but I don't
140,
want
yeah.
a fire in my
240.
grow room.
Yeah. But yeah.
It
Man,
is-
those ballasts will get hot. I remember when my mentor set up shop downstairs, and he wasn't really exactly, let's just say, care, or he didn't really care about much, and he'd just unwrap stuff, and plastic would go everywhere. And then one time I went down there, I was like, it's smelling, and I couldn't figure it out. And all of a sudden, it was all this plastic on top of the ballast.
Yeah.
That he had
Oh,
just
shit.
unwrapped a whole bunch of shit, and it was just sitting there oh my god.
Well, what they used to do too is, you know how you get a new laptop or a new monitor or something that's got that nice peeling off plastic. So they used to put that shit on the ballast, but not everyone, has the best eyesight or whatever and notice that shit. So they just set their shit up, not see clear fucking
Ugh.
back in the day, and then you'd smell it. I never did that, but because I read it on the forums, hey, make sure you check for plastic.
Magnetic ballast life, man.
But that was like the beginning of the Chinese shit. And it was like the Chinese never saw that. They're just selling ballast to copy the expensive one.
Those
But-
magnetic ballasts were so
Better
hot that I
check.
used to keep them inside of my veg room to keep it warm.
Yeah.
Oh,
And in the
dude.
summertime, I would have to unplug it and then feed the wire back through, and then put the ballast outside of the room, or it would be like 92 degrees in there and shit.
Did you ever get the digital after and be like, oh,
Okay.
'cause
Oh,
it didn't
oh,
have
yeah.
the buzzing, it didn't have the heat.
It didn't have anybody knocking on my door
It was-
talking about
the-
why's
the
my
dig-
cable
the
fucked
digital-
up?
Actually,
The digital guys, technically the digital is what you see on like quantum board LEDs now. That's the same thing. It's like a digital ballast, whatever digital ballast means. But that's what they upgraded to. I remember I got those and I was like, oh, this is cool. I can
I
put
had
this
I started with
anywhere.
a used digital one, and I bought it was a 400 watt. So the second thing I bought was another 400 watt, but I bought a magnetic one. And you'd be like, well, why the fuck would you do that? First of all, it was like way cheaper. And secondly,
Yeah.
in the event that I had a light go out, I knew that I could take that magnetic ballast back to my dude at the grocery store and I could get it fixed. If I bought like an Apollo or one of those
Yep.
eBay specials and shit, if it died after like 2 weeks, you're hit. It's not repairable. So
dude,
the
Apollo,
magnetic
that was my first, my purple 600 watt running.
That's exactly the one, man.
600 watt HID instead of a 4x5 or 4x2 by 510 inside of my closet. And yeah,
That was
that
rocking.
I added like maybe 1,000 watt Apollo ballast as my second ballast, and I think I maybe got like a hand-me-down magnetic as my third one. And by that time, I had Comcast walking by trying to figure out who was fucking with the Wi-Fi. Shut it
Yeah.
down.
Dude.
Yep.
Get all the
Definitely.
interference lines on your pictures, and
Yeah, they might put the
Yeah.
FCC
Yeah.
logo on it, but
Yeah.
that don't mean it's
Neighbors have been calling
necessarily-
for months. My goddamn TV, Comcast, you piece of shit.
Why does my
Co-
TV only work
Comcast,
12
like,
hours
sir,
a
we
day?
have no reason why this should be happening.
But
Meanwhile,
7
7
o'clock.
my shit's
It's
broke.
for Rolly.
Dude,
So
I
Rolly's
already cut
blowing out the
cable, so
shit.
I'm just
Yeah.
fully internet at that point.
I gotta get ready for Ash time.
It's
I
like
never
for some
had-
reason. Go ahead, Ray.
I never had any problems with like cable or anything. But when I first moved into this house, it didn't have it has central air, but it just didn't work right. And so I didn't get it working. I went straight into like building a grow room and like retrofitted a closet in one of the master bedrooms for a veg room, so it was like blowing hot air into the bedroom because it was just like it was a big walk-in closet, so I had like 2 or 3 like 2x4 8-bulb T5 lights in there, right? So it was a hot fucking closet.
Holy shit! Yeah.
Ventilation was blowing it into the bedroom, from nowhere else, just cycling air from within the bedroom, just cycling its own hot air. So it was a hot room there. And then I built a bloom room, which is one of these back bedrooms over here. This one, like if you couldn't see and you went to the other side of that wall, there was a fucking bloom room in there at one time. And I had 3 magnetic ballasts and 3 HPS bulbs in that room on some tables that I made. And up at the top up here, you can kind of see that up there, that's actually a closet in that bedroom. And that's the top of the closet. I had one of those, if you've been following GML, one of those dust rooms up on top of there. There's a hole up there. There might still be a dust room up there. I don't fucking know. So there's a 2 holes up there, and I would cycle air in that bedroom through the top of that closet. And in that closet was another 8-bar T5 in a tent with moms in it. And in that room had the flowering rooms where the air would cycle from the top up there through the lights and down and out the garage and out of the house, right? So I didn't have hot air from the lights in that room, but all the hot air from just everything else was just up here. And that summer was so fucking hot. This house was 120 degrees, just like constant.
Oh my God.
I had all the fucking windows open, as best as I could because it fucking stunk, and it was my first time growing weed and doing anything. And I learned real fast when I think this was even the springtime on the windows to these bedrooms. We're in a second level, the windows, I like put these vinyl curtains, the vinyl blinds, right? But went to Lowe's and bought some cheapest fucking blinds that were kind of nice I could get, closed them up, put a piece of plywood on my fucking window, sealed it all off, got my room up to fucking 100 degrees, hot as shit, you know what I mean? Because I don't have an air conditioner or anything. I go to work all day. I come home, the blinds have all fucking melted, and all I can see is this piece of plywood in my fucking window, and I'm like, oh shit. So I go up real quick, take it all down, shut down the grow room, put up some curtains, whatever.
That's great.
Gotta go the next day and get it all fixed up. Learn real quick to just use like some natural fiber or curtains.
A curtain, yeah, just staple a fucking curtain to that plywood, dude. That's what
I have like bamboo curtains or whatever, and then I painted the wood white. You know what I mean? So just like kind of holding and trim,
white or black
to make it.
Yeah. And dude, for the longest time, I even thought about putting LEDs on a timer back there, so they came on and went off. So it looked like someone was in the bedroom, like
that's a little extra.
Yeah. So I never did that, but I was like, what should I do? We're actually getting ready to finally, like, those rooms have been empty, and we're finally going to start opening up those windows again, which is going to be and actually just put houseplants and shit like that. And there was a time this house was this is all the second level, right? This is, our living space, kitchen, and everything is all on the second level, split level style home. And dude, it just fucking roasted up here. Poor Diogi. Thank God he was a young dog. You know what I mean? He was like 3 years old. It was so fucking hot, dude. I really had to it took me like 2 or 3 years to finally get an air conditioner on this house. The grow rooms had an air conditioner before I had an air conditioner. I used to just go sit in the grow rooms and fucking cool down because this house was so hot.
How long did it take you to exhaust directly out of the window?
I never exhausted out of the window. I have a hole drilled through my floor, a big fucking 8-inch hole into the garage that goes out the back of the house. Because the theory is if it goes out the top, it's going to look like a smoke, something that's not supposed to be on the top. If it goes out the back, maybe it'll look like my dryer vent. You know what I mean? So in theory, if I'm getting a heat signature this is all from the fucking glory days, man. All my room planning is all from the glory days, right? So I'm worried about heat signature and all that stuff. So I'm like, all right, the heat signature is going out the back of the house, where dryer vent might be going outside of the house or something like that. So and also it went out of the back of the house straight into a compost pile. So it was like another theory was like the smell and everything wouldn't linger anywhere around the front of the house. All the smell would go to the back of the house where I smoke all my joints and everything anyways, and the compost. And so actually it worked out nicely. I always kept my compost pile nice and warm, even in the winter.
I was gonna say.
It out, like it was kind of cool. Hot air just blowing down.
Dude, you should have just charged membership fees for all of your stoner friends that like to do yoga and did Bikram yoga all fucking day. That it was already hot.
So
Yes.
hot. Like
You
seriously.
just handed out towels to all your friends
Sauna.
and
It was a sweat
done
lodge.
yoga and made a shitload.
Played music for him.
Could have totally had a fucking side hustle doing sweat lodge shit here, man. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
All right.
We are less than 2 minutes from hash time, so hopefully everybody has a chance to gather all their accoutrements together and
I am getting ready.
celebrate the hour on us.
Shout
Vic,
out
what are you
to
holding
Dro.
up? Yeah.
I
got
am
some strawberry 2.1.
from
Oh,
Dro.
yeah. Dro
Yeah,
Grow.
Jokes came by
Yes.
for some
Oh.
GMO cuts. He gave me that and some Limelights, which
Yes.
Limelights is interesting, but a really good high for the day.
Nice.
Why do you
Smoking
say
that
it's
all day.
interesting?
Sounds
What
delicious.
makes it interesting?
It's
Uh,
I can't put we can't put our nose on it, but like hang on,
Put
let
our
me
nose on it. Come on, Toucan Sam.
Your nose is
it's
off.
like you get the Limelights afterwards, but initial smell there's like a I don't know what it is. Like I want to say like Cracker Jack box or something.
Oh,
It's
okay,
weird.
that is
It's
weird.
weird.
Cracker Jack.
I like Cracker Jack.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Poison
shout
Punch?
out
Yeah.
Indica right now. Got
Yeah, I'm
the
feeling those from Infragrove.
and Mrs. Indica.
Oh, I love it.
I got some biscotti pancake, some Skittle
Mm.
bomb, some jealousy, and boy is the jealousy proper.
Nice.
Get her baked.
I know you don't
Hey,
like.
hey, I don't like proper, but it's a flavor thing. I know it's a
Oh,
good
proper.
one.
So you don't
But I
like.
don't like jealousy.
Also, that means you don't like runts, because I feel like jealousy is
Yeah, I
like
don't really like runs.
really okay, dokie. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like trop cookies, so okie
Teach
dokie.
And on that, I don't like runs growing it either because it's a lot of work and it's a little bullshit popcorn.
I don't. I think it's.
I'm not
I think it's
popcorn.
grain dependent.
Hash time.
I think.
Yeah,
it's-
well, yeah, but the 2 runs I've grown.
Just in case, I've
Cheers.
always got this handy.
Ting.
So
What are you
I
calling
got
us back to the farm there with the triangle?
No, it's
Well,
when you're gone, someone's got to cover your job, man.
Okay,
I love
there
the
you go.
jealousy bananas.
That's a
It
nice
does taste
shovel
like
folder.
jealousy.
That fell off of when I tried to show you
Ooh,
guys
cheers,
the
Becca.
poison punch. It fell off the.
Hey, Becca.
Hi guys.
That
It's
could
like fuck this ammunition hash time. Give me that rig.
I
Red.
got
Cheers,
grinded
Becca.
up in my bowl, and then I have Red's strawberries and cream to top it off.
Yay. What's that? Hash? Strawberries and cream dry stuff? Oh, yeah.
Sequence is back there doing the head scratching thing, so I think that last bong
Really?
rip kind of grabbed him by the ass, maybe.
Now we got Endgame going.
Got you by the boo boo. Oh, who's playing?
Dallas is playing against.
Ah!
Dallas against who?
I don't know.
No, I said we have Endgame and
Oh, Endgame. Oh,
the strain.
The
Yeah.
I
strain,
thought
yeah.
you said it was the end of the game. My bad.
I thought the
I
same thing
knew
too.
it. I knew it.
My bad. So I
Zico's played along.
sequence. I saw like blue uniforms, and I was trying to figure out who was playing.
I think it's halftime. I can't remember.
Okay.
Halftime.
It's a bunch of
halftime.
blue. It's like Indianapolis and Dallas. I don't know, somebody like that. I haven't really been paying attention, but it's odd. No, that's not. Wait,
Sport
this is not the
ball.
same game. Yeah, sports balls.
Mm-mm.
Well, I gotta pick some more Irie to replace the Limarilla if it doesn't pop.
Ooh, what are you
Yeah.
looking at?
Because I need something sativa. I need something to get me up and go.
They're running.
Are you
Can you tell us what you have to pick from?
are you gonna
Oh.
pick Fems to save time?
Yeah, I'd like to, but that kind of limits me with Irie. I mean, he does have some femmes, but
I was gonna say yeah.
I don't have a bunch of femmes of his, but I'm thinking about running, and I know that this is gonna really fucking excite you, Tara. I think that I was
I
thinking
know
about
what you're
running
gonna say.
Lady
gonna-
Marmalade. So
What?
orange.
Orange.
Lady Marmalade.
I thought you were gonna say orange gasm.
I
Yeah.
know, I did too. I was like,
Yeah.
she's orange gasm.
That's one of my femmes of his.
No, if I was gonna run, I would run the Afterglow again.
That's what I thought you'd pick.
Okay, so I'm
But-
not all. I don't hate orange. I don't like the bitter orange. I like clementine. I like bright. I don't know. Maybe sweet. Maybe is where I like my orange to be. Whereas like Trop cookies in that kind of line
Yeah.
is like bitter and burnt, and I just ugh.
Hey, Becca.
Hi, Becca. I'm gonna go get my Irie and see if we can't sort it
Yes.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
You know, if you were doing a sativa, I just had a blind shot in the dark, I would try to pop the Golden Goat from them.
Oh, there you go.
Red,
Yeah,
you're
I
the one
love
that
the
told me
golden
that.
goat. And he
I was
did
just talking.
femmes.
It could be about Golden Goat. I love Golden Goat. Love
I
it.
just ran out of. I don't think I have anymore. We used them
It's
outside.
foxtail, but I love it.
Yeah, I don't care for foxtails. Me and
I don't-
Sequence both like we think that's proper looking shit, man. The
Yeah.
GG4 GMO.
And it's chunky monkey.
Yeah,
There
I
you
grew
go.
that for a couple of years. It's a solid
Yeah,
strain.
definitely like the goat. Hmm
I mean, the
Golden
terp
Goat
profile
another
isn't like.
orange one, Tara?
What'd you say?
Isn't Golden Goat another orange strain?
No, like
No.
lemony.
Oh,
At least
No,
I
to me,
I-
to me,
orange off Golden Goat. I get more
golden
like
goat
lime.
Citrusy lemony.
Yeah,
is like recycling center. What's the pop place?
Recycling center. What the fuck?
That's
Well,
how
that's
he
what
made
Rocky
it. That's why it's
Pepsi
named
said.
after.
it's like a recycling center for
So,
orange
I
cans.
didn't get that until I moved up here, and it's what I think he means is it's like here the soda pop refund place. You go in
Okay.
there to put your
Like
fucking pop
bottle
It
cans
rocket.
in.
smells, it smells
and
fucking
it's just-
horrible.
It smells horrible, but there's times you're like, ooh, that's a good mix of sweet and I don't know.
And
So I
mold.
get it. Yeah, but that's what Golden Goat's named after, is a recycling center near the dude who grew it or found it or whatever.
So
I know
don't
it's been around
cross
for a
off
long
all
time.
Oranges. I'm just like there's certain oranges I'm against right now. So I've got an open mind to orange.
What flavor trail would you like to go down if you had that just opportunity to choose?
Ooh,
Foot, GMO
Probably-
foot.
yeah, probably the stank foot,
Yeah.
the wook foot.
Wook foot.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I got this right here. Okay,
There you go.
I got the wook ass.
Oh,
Maybe that's where it is.
Sassy created the Wookfoot this year. Sassy was the giant female that was in our garden and volunteer who with the help of the green room male pollen created the Wookfoot.
nice. Little history, huh?
I just saw the bottom of your shirt finally. That's a sweet shirt painted. Let's get baked. It's a freaking gingerbread man.
Thanks.
I thought she wanted us all to gang up on me. Let's get him, guys.
Let's get cookies.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
My friend
Gingerbread.
down in Georgia sent me this. I love it. It's my
Oh.
favorite holiday shirt.
So what'd you pull?
I mean, let's see. Trying to organize it.
She's got a bunch.
Let's start with Jack Tripper.
Okay.
Regular.
I still want to know what that is.
So let's see if I can get it to.
There we
Do
go.
explain.
Almost.
Oh no.
Lemon Skunk and Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Lemon
There
skunk
you
and
go.
Yeah,
Jack
there you go,
the
that
Ripper.
helps.
Yeah,
Skunk and Jack. Okay.
that's regular.
Morning Dew, classic.
Yep. Grateful
Grateful
Dog.
Dog and a Rise. Dark Hollow.
Ooh.
Oh,
GMO and
Jimbo, you
Rise.
got the hype for that?
You get the height for that.
Ooh.
This
Rise.
is Afterglow. This is my
Nice.
Clementine and a rice.
Starstruck.
Star Dog and a rice.
That's supposed
That-
to be
yeah,
a good
that
one.
could be-
Stardog was a classic. You talked
Yeah,
about.
I like that
Dark
line.
Hollow because that's what
Biscotti.
you got to kick that one. Kick
I know.
the Dark
Don't
Hollow.
you like Biscotti sequence?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
lemon
could be a good
Yes,
one.
Ooh,
yes, yes,
dude.
yes.
The
Orange
Lemon
Chasm.
you know what? I want to give a shout out to Dro Grows because his fucking lemon Jeffrey he had a
Lemon-
couple years
yeah.
ago was
Those
fucking
are great.
fire, man.
Double
Yes.
dose.
Woo-hoo.
That'll put you to sleep.
Would it?
Well, I don't know. The rise is an upper, and then the dose downer. Whew. Sunkiss.
Sunkiss.
Platinum Tangy times the
Ooh.
rise. That might be it.
That might be good.
Yeah.
But
A lot of
Tangy-
options here. I feel like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
Strawberry Star.
Product.
Yep, I have a bunch
Ooh,
of strawberry
jeez.
starbursts.
that
We could do a
sounds nice.
huge run of that.
Here's my JTR F2 number 4s.
Jack the
That's
Ripper.
sick.
Sweet.
Yep. And Lady
Lady
Marmalade,
Ooh, what's that?
Mandarin
Mandarin
Sunset and the Rise.
Ooh, that's kind of nice. That sounds bright.
That's what I was thinking.
Double one.
of.
It's double
That's
one.
what she thought you would hate.
I also
And these are my auction ones. I got these at auction. A Rise and Gold.
Ooh, that
Ooh.
one sounds really good.
Here you go.
Yes,
Gold
Because
I-
the
gold.
rise was really lemony. So
Ooh.
Dro says Jack the Ripper. I know Jack the Ripper is one of my faves. That's my.
When you
That's
first started
really
doing shows with
get
us,
shit done.
I'd like to see that.
and,
Jack
and
the
you did that auto solo grow, and you had that little Jack the Ripper. I
Yeah.
still fucking think that is one of the prettiest little bonsais, man. And that bud
Yep.
looked dense.
Totally agree.
Like, dude, that looked like really good weed, man.
And I did nothing to train that plant. It wasn't like I trained it to do anything.
No, it had a
to
great
keep it
structure,
that way.
though.
I thought it was so cool about it. I loved it. And it was, oh man, it's still one of my favorite smokes too. Cause, woo. So, what do you
Do you have
think?
any other lemon? Do you guys have lemon in this run already, or no?
Yeah, Las Vegas Lemon Skunk,
Okay.
I guess we do. So,
So, like,
we were looking forward to the lime.
What do you think? Ben?
A Kingfisher, I am pronouncing it the right way. Marmalade.
Let's Google. Now I have to Google it because you
Yeah,
brought it up.
yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't going to.
That's where
Share that
Lady
screen.
Marmalade.
Share
Yeah.
his screen so he can get the Google pronunciation.
That's the one that got my attention out of everything.
Kilba, I'm gonna need backup here.
Besides-
Go ahead and
I
You're
bought
all
share
good,
that.
dude. I just was
Dark color.
staying out of it.
I bought that pack
Not
because it
gonna
was
say
called Lady
anything.
Madonna, and I was like, "Oh yeah, cool," because I bought 2 packs right off of this dude. I don't know, Big Cloud or something. I can't. Stoner Dave, I think that's who it was. And it had Morning Dew, and he had Lady Madonna. Shout out Stoner Dave, fucking awesome dude. And I got Lady Marmalade thinking it was Lady Madonna, and I was like, I like this because it's like a Beatles song and a Grateful Dead song. Like that's how I made my pick, right? And but it was not. It was Lady Marmalade, and then not.
But it was not.
What?
I don't know. That
Dude,
sounds
just have Google do it.
Yeah, what are you
It-
doing?
it
over
won't
there?
do
the
it.
fuck,
What do you
using
mean?
Ask Jeeves or
Really?
something?
What's more simple than Lady Marmalade?
How to pronounce marmalade?
Thank you for
Pronunciation? That's
Look at what
literally
you
means.
started, Kingfisher.
I want to put it on.
Yeah.
Finally.
You already said it's Marmalade,
What
but
about how to vocalize?
How to vocalize?
what do you mean?
Vocalize.
Guys, just share my
series
screen.
It keeps
Boosting
going to
run.
this.
Oh, what have you done to Google?
Just hit the little speaker next to it.
Just
There is what speaker? Where?
Dummy.
I know what you're talking about, but it's not
type
there.
in how to pronounce marmalade.
The job is Googling.
Has
Oh,
anybody else,
man.
has
This is
anybody else
great,
noticed
man.
that it's the 69 sexiest songs, by the way?
Marmalade.
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 Thank you. Baked, you're doing
I
it
know I
exactly
can never
right.
make it here.
Stupid. That's you.
That's you.
I gotta hear her say it.
Every time I hit share screen, it goes, oh, no option for sharing the sound. It says mute website notifications, but no sound sharing.
Look at
So I
Sickness
don't know
over
what
here.
you guys
He's
are talking
enjoying
And you
it.
know why? Because it's probably, I'm right. That's probably why. And he's just over there going, marmalade, marmalade.
No, it says it right there. Marmalade.
Baked
Okay, so
cone
I'm
is
the one that
good,
always
Lily.
fucks up saying things. So I think it's marmalade.
Whatever Y'all
That
just
is
said
it.
every spot.
That sounds about right.
That's
I
how I
know.
say it because I'm saying it
That's how I
like the
say it.
song.
How do you say it, Pain Lady?
I just said it.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, we need
I'm with you.
Marmalade.
Purple
Maybe
meter.
marmalade.
marmalade. No. I can't get on
Don't
that
tell me
boat.
I'm wrong. You don't know.
It's
I do. It's on Google right here.
I'm with marmalade.
Google that.
Marmalade.
I can. You can actually Google what that means.
Marmalade. I don't know.
What is a marmalade? Isn't that like a jelly?
It's a spread.
Yeah, it's like a hammy jelly.
It is.
Yeah,
So-
who wants to be known as Lady Jelly?
The lady that made it all, and she's rich. She owns Welch's.
Maybe Lady Preserve.
I need to.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely not Lady Spread. That's a professional.
yeah.
The world's oldest.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you think? I don't know. I'm trying to decide.
What do
I
you?
mean,
What-
What was, okay, what was the Jack Tripper? Was that a
that's
JTR cross, right?
F2 and a rise, I believe. Let me look. That was one of the
Well,
first ones.
you had that going last time, and I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if you liked the structure on it or.
It was okay. I mean, I don't know. It was just at a time when things were kind of fucked up.
Right.
So I was doing a growing style that I wasn't used to and didn't like. So Lemon Skunk and Jack the Ripper.
Right.
Mm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Can we do a poll? Because
Yeah.
I want to put my votes in for the GMO times a rise or
Yes,
the
that's
Star
another
Dog
one.
times a rise.
I mean, I'm
Stardog.
a fan, man. Dark Hollow is awesome.
Yeah, but I want something sativa.
We have to
Both
kick that
the
out.
arises are sativa.
Golden
Let's-
Goat
GMO
and
is just
Rise.
gonna make it potent.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's
gonna
maybe
pick-
do two polls.
I'm gonna
One
do.
for like a specific sativa and one for.
I'm gonna
Well, you can
say-
make more than 3 options. I
I want
think.
her to pop the Dark Hollow ones because I want to buy those off of her.
I don't know how to
There
make.
you go, trying to give more.
Start the auction.
I would say the.
Wait, what's the
Golden-
name of them, Pan Lady, for the GMO one?
Dark. Hollow.
Dark Hollow.
And
Yeah.
what's the Star Dog one? Is like Star something?
Stardog is Starstruck and Arise is
No.
Okay.
Stardog.
Starstruck or Dark Hollow? I vote for Dark Hollow as my vote.
I mean, obviously, we're gonna vote for Dark Hollow because
Go
that's
Bubbles.
Yeah, exactly, Tara.
Wait a minute.
We've
what did
already
you say,
got a
Red?
club.
Listen to The Reckoning. The Grateful Dead plays Dark Hollow. Great song.
Right on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw one into the poll myself. I think Skilbo mentioned it, but I'm gonna have to back it. I do like both of those, but I would like to see the Golden Goat cross as well get thrown in there.
Golden Goat
Ooh,
and the Rise.
That's what I'm
Ooh.
thinking for Growly.
that's
I
a good
really-
one. That's a good one.
I paid pretty decent money for that in an auction. So
Yeah,
That's what I
get it popped. Then we don't want it to end up like those Barilla
Ooh.
limes or whatever. You know,
That's right.
get
We
them
were
in the
talking
ground.
about it earlier how to pop them, but I've gone after seeing Riot Seeds
Gibberellic
video.
acid.
I've gone. Well, no, I have some of that, but I've gone
H2O2.
back to the paper tower method, but with it's water with peroxide, so that it's clean as hell, and there's no bacteria. And I've had a lot of success with that with all my seeds recently. But
Do you do any kind of
might want to.
scarification?
if
at
it's
all? Do
really
you
old, if I pull out an old one soon, then yeah, I'm gonna definitely
give
scuff
it
it
a
up.
scuff?
Yeah, just
Okay.
a little sandpaper. I got some really fine stuff.
And when we say scuff, we mean scuff. We don't mean sand like through the
Yeah,
fucking
just
shit,
like-
man. Like just a couple of them.
Just like a couple passes.
What's the
not even
purpose of
hard.
that? Make it easier for them to kind of.
Yeah, it makes it easier for the I guess moisture and everything to
get
penetrate, get
penetrated,
into
yeah.
in there and get it started, and then it can break out.
There's also some people believe in using a seed cracker as well.
Yeah,
Have you
I've
guys ever
done that,
fucked with
but you can
Whoa.
if you have a steady enough hand, you can just use pliers, which I've done,
Whoa.
and
Yeah,
you
I
just
just
did it with
see
my
that you-
fingernail with those limarillas.
yeah, exactly. You just put in the right spot on the seed where the seam is top and bottom, of whatever you're using and just lightly squeeze until you'll see pop, and you'll probably see white inside usually,
Yep.
and then you're like,
That's
all
what
right, I'm good.
If it's not white, what is it going to be? Just like a dark brown, like dusty old.
Could
trash?
be.
No, I've never
Lots
seen
to do.
anything dusty, but I've seen like just like brown
nothing
or
really.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw like a little bit of white. I cracked it, and so I saw a little bit of white. Well, that's why I cracked it, because I saw a little bit of white trying to peek, and I was like, "Oh, that thing's trying to do it." So I cracked it a little bit. I put it back in the paper towel overnight, and then the next day it had sprouted like a little bit of a tail, and so I put it in the cocoa, and I'm hoping for the best. But
Maybe
the other one was just
moist enough to crack that. I mean, there's.
Are you guys just starting with water?
us. What?
Oh,
You're
did you
just
soak
putting
in
them
water?
in. Yeah, they've just soaked them in
Oh,
water,
sorry.
Tara.
Water and then went to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
they should definitely be. That's why, like, that's what I was doing, Painted Lady, was before it was I was giving them the 24-hour to make sure they were wet enough, and then I go to paper towel. But I've just been doing the paper towel now, but making sure I've used peroxide. I think
During
it's like
that,
5%.
You know, the
During that
peroxide is great. I think you're onto something right there.
Yeah, because he mentioned he's like it's all about the bacteria for these younglings, and it's like I've definitely had seeds that have like sprouted little tails and then like browned out and shit or something,
I
or
don't
just
think you're
it's
doing-
like, oh, some bacteria might have gotten it.
You know,
That's
the other thing. I don't think what you're doing will hurt it. So
Yeah,
essentially, anything you can do, you're promoting it. So the peroxide
yeah,
not going to hurt it at all, because peroxide's used for lots of different things. So I think that's a great thing to incorporate, and like everybody maybe like should hop on, because that's really cool.
One
we-
thing that they tell you about peroxide is that your bottle can get old. I'm not talking about like H2O2. I'm talking about the 3% shit.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
don't keep a bottle of 3% for like 3 years and think that,
No.
well, I'm only
Yeah.
using an eyedropper full. Like that shit. I think they're going to tell you basically 90 days, somewhere around there, 6 months. It's not that much money. If you've
Mhm.
spent $100 on beans, just go out and buy a new bottle. If you're going to
Absolutely.
go down that road.
we've talked about kind of breaking the shell open in several different ways, whether it be water as a solvent or mechanically separating, if you will. But Bake just mentioned something that I have a question about, is when they get that tail going, right? Maybe you've done that already in the paper towel method or whatever, and you've dropped it into a solo cup, or maybe you started it in a peat pellet or something, but you've confirmed it's got that tail going, right? That tap root. At what point do you confirm it just doesn't break the soil? Like, why does it shoot out that tap root and sometimes not go any further? What is it? Just like, is it a bacteria issue like you just mentioned, or is it just maybe like a seed that just doesn't have the energy and it's just not gonna get there?
I was gonna
So
say, like, it's a potential energy thing. It just isn't there.
Yeah. it just
I think it's a bacteria thing, because I use those pea pellets. I've been using those for a long time. My coworker has. That's what we use at work, and he's usually the one doing all the seeds and clones. And he cracks his method. I noticed a long time ago. He cracks those suckers in half pretty much, the cubes, the pea cubes, and he watches the root every day.
Mhm.
Every day. So like I started doing that at the house, and the ones that don't pop out of the pea pellet, I'm watching, and I watch that little tiny root go, and then just get yellow or green or brown or something.
Are they all in the same tray?
Yeah.
So that's telling me that they're probably sharing the same kind of rhizosphere and bacteria. So I can't imagine that it's going to affect one more ferociously to the point that it can't germinate than it would one that's 1 or 2 rows over. That
I mean, I think it's luck of the draw. It's just like a little baby. Like you don't. Yeah, they can take some stuff and they're sort of durable, but you don't.
So isn't
you
that
don't
more?
want them to have everything when they're a
It's
newborn.
genetics.
But isn't that more genetic potential, not just the environmental factors? More.
I'm also not soaking my cubes in anything clean.
Yeah,
I've always thought about that.
Either.
I've thought about doing peroxide water for that,
Mhm.
and making sure my cubes are clean as fuck.
It makes sense.
But But
I use
that's
RO
my
water
next
for most of
experiment.
this stuff.
I
yeah,
use
rather than
RO,
tap-
exactly.
yeah,
I use RO, but you just never know.
right.
It's a luck of the draw thing, I think. You know, one little bacteria can kill a little. I think that's the most vulnerable these plants are, is when they're in a tiny little seed.
Mhm.
Once
For
they're
sure.
Yeah,
every other stage, veg, flower, these things are durable.
they're
These
hardier.
things, I mean, even your crazy strains like Mac 1 and stuff. But
Oh my God. Once you get them to like a 1-gallon pot,
yeah, exactly.
Unless you have
yeah.
like pests or some powdery mildew or some bullshit.
Yeah,
you can't
obviously
beat back.
some extreme, but like yeah, so like I think the seedling
Water.
stage is one of the hardest to get down, but I'm starting to my theory recently is just keep it clean. Clean.
yep.
So maybe I do need to soak my cubes. I used the Q plugs recently because they dry out quicker. And I like that. But maybe I need to soak those in the water and peroxide.
I don't think it would be
And
a bad thing to incorporate a little splash of peroxide to your soak at all.
yeah.
How do you guys
exactly.
feel about rolling your seeds in like Azos or something like that?
Azos?
Yeah.
Oh, microbes?
Any kind of microbe that you're going to roll on there and try to, instead of going for the sterile route. 'Cause
Here's the
Spartan was
thing.
mentioning that like you want to be careful with it, but I'll speak to his point and then I'll speak against his point. He said that you want to be careful. He uses the root riot cubes, goes into those, and you can use H2O2 if you want to, if you're using synthetics, but otherwise it'll nuke your microbe population, which, while true, at the same time, you could introduce microbes after you have successfully,
Yeah.
pumped the beans as well.
I would exactly for the purpose. I mean, here's the thing. If you were to do the microbes, in my opinion, I would do something like you just said, Azos or what is it? Shark Great White, where you're it's just microbes. Like Recharge, no. There's what is it? A kelp and
Some might be
molasses
too
in that.
Mhm.
So yeah, exactly. It might be too hot, but
Oh, red.
I wouldn't do it. It's like you said. I would wait to add microbes until it's after in the cube, because when it's in the cube, I'm watering it for water for a few days anyway, straight water, and then I go to like half, and then I go to full. So like I have time in the cube.
I mean, at what point
And
does
then I
it
can add
actually need
microbes.
micro and macro
The
nutrients?
roots need
Because
microbes, so I don't think the
Right, Vic.
seedling really does. But I mean, yeah, I mean,
so
I
what
don't
about
do
cloning?
it. I
Is
don't
it
do
kind of the
it.
same
Same
thing?
thing. I don't use microbes in cloning because I'm
Can you
trying to
just-
keep things clean.
Can you run hydrogen peroxide in the aerocloner then? And
Some
get the
people
same
do.
results?
You know,
Yeah.
what some people do is what the
I do.
Athena has is the cleanse, which is
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
hydrofluoric acid, which is like pool shock. It's
I
a
use
small
Res
percentage
Clear
pool
in
shock.
mine. Yeah, Res Clear.
It's a
And
cap of
boom.
bleach.
Yeah, and it keeps
and
it
a
clean.
giant
and
bottle of water.
They've been using that in hydro for years, and
Yeah.
that's how they keep their shit clean, so it doesn't build algae in everywhere while they're
Do it in
running
between.
24/7 water.
Do it in between your water changes. You change out your water and you run
Yeah.
that through for 12 hours or whatever, and jump.
Dude,
back.
I don't
think
actually
that
know what
kills
specific.
microbes like a mofo.
I don't know what
But if that's
specific
your
product
goal-
you're talking about, but and maybe we should look it up. But I hate to maybe call out anybody specifically, but I know there's products like this that it's literally just relabeled bleach. You know what I mean? And it's called
yeah.
some sort of sterilization product. Just look at the
me
labels,
see.
guys, before you start spending money on.
Ingredients. Yeah, the
Stuff.
ingredients will tell you.
I really I'm trying to get in the I think Red and Becca probably will appreciate this, but like that mindset of the closed loop, you know what I mean? Like I have the ability to do that with a lot more things than I am. So I'm trying to think ahead and think about how I can close some loops. I mean,
In what way do you mean that?
more than just a closed loop system of running hydrocarbons, you know what I mean? Of just like repurposing and reusing products. Like I every time I go get a yard of soil, they offer me to put it on my truck with or without the pallet. Guess what? I'm taking that pallet. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of different uses I have around the farm for a pallet. And now I have half a dozen pallets, you know what I mean, that I can use to build a wall for my chicken coop, and it's just something as simple as that. Just to
You
keep
can
the
build
wind off
walls
them.
for your compost pile too. Put your 3 sides up.
Yeah.
put 3 of them up and away
That's
you go.
true. Right now it's just a massive pile, but I probably should at some point.
My compost in the back is made out of 3 pallets. They were smaller pallets. They were like the little pallets that are like 1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
It's like barely that big, but it's like a little like 3 by 3 by 3. You know,
Oh.
per square.
What did you do? Just drive some re-rot into the ground and use that as like
I had to use like 5 pallets, right? 2 in the back, 3 for the sides. You know, just two spaces, and I did.
Someone pull up their Instagram if you guys are willing to share that on here, because oh my gosh, man, the what you guys have done in your backyard with the farm, man, it's just incredible. Like it's so pleasing to the eye and pleasing to nature, and it's just like it's beautiful. You've done an amazing job with the space, and I would love for someone to pull it up to share it.
Our chicken coop specifically.
Where's your best
Everything,
pictures?
the fencing, the new garden edition, just like
Oh yeah, we
I have a new video.
it's aesthetically pleasing, it's functional. I'm excited to see what you guys do with it in terms of more plants.
we're right now trying to figure out. We're like planning ahead for what's gonna go where. Got
It's
a
so
lot-
hard.
lot of new space, and we want to make some changes to where we had stuff from this last year, which just from observing how things grew in certain spaces. And so we're gonna kind of take what we've learned and master plan.
Are you growing certain plants like with that the chickens will have access to for a certain reason, kind of thing?
So there are some plants that I'm gonna be planting like around inside their coop is kind of enclosed in another space, right? And we were gonna put gardens in there. We might do some raised beds over time, but I'm gonna start with some stuff that like is a little bit bigger that they're not gonna eat right away. They might peck at it and check it out, but like
Get the bugs off it first.
better like lavender is a big one. They won't really like devour a plant, but it can be good for keeping certain things away and that kind of stuff. Similarly with like rosemary, certain like salvias, all kinds of things that like
Awesome.
they won't destroy. And so I'm going to plant those in there. And then I'm also, speaking of like closing loops, specifically growing like oregano and some red peppers, like spicier ones, cayenne, to create different. Those are just a couple of good herbs specifically in the vegetables.
If I can make a recommendation, they really, really, really love watermelons and cantaloupe. And those are fairly easy to grow for the most part. They do take up a little space. I know you guys are growing pumpkins and stuff like that before, and it's just but man, those we don't eat cantaloupe, but we grow them every year just for the chickens. Because
will they peck at that? I heard that they won't peck at them until they're like broken open.
yes, pretty much. Yeah, so that's something you can kind of grow around them, and they'll just kind of walk around it. You might have to kind of like just give them a little tender care, but
we do need to grow. We didn't grow any watermelon or cantaloupe this year. We just like ran out of space.
yeah, they take up a lot of space too.
Yeah, we didn't even plant the seeds. We didn't even get around to it.
But I
Everywhere
love
else
cantaloupe.
mapped out.
Oh my gosh, I love cantaloupe so much.
I imagine they'd love honeydew and maybe even like pumpkins. I don't know. I mean, they pretty much eat anything.
They don't go crazy for pumpkin flesh. Like they will eat it and peck at it, but not like devour it. Like they will like kale or broccoli or something. Like,
I tell you what, I'm gonna have to try maybe giving them my spare tomatoes next year, because I tried to feed this is last year. I tried to feed deer the tomatoes and they would not touch them. They had no interest.
they're unripe. I think that they're poisonous, so they won't eat those ones. But
Oh, these were
Nice
overripened.
That is.
Yeah,
yeah,
potatoes.
yeah. If they're green at all, like I think people still do feed them to them, and they just won't eat them.
There's something there. Yeah.
Because I've seen in chats people be like, "Oh, I throw them the whole plant, and they just don't touch what they won't."
They probably just motor through it and just grind it all into the ground.
Now compost.
Some amino acid, something.
We just got our Baker Creek catalog. It's not as cool as your guys' big one, but
No, it's a great one
I
still.
like the cover.
I just put the order in for mine, the smaller one. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, get that free catalog.
Awesome.
You guys are out.
awesome.
Get it,
Shoot,
man.
I'm gonna sign up.
When Red mentioned it a couple weeks ago, I was doing it on my phone. I was like, I'm not going to forget this year. I want to make sure I get the catalog.
I mean, so
between like Painted Lady's backyard, your backyard, you know, like I just see how vibrant these plants are and then the wild variety and shit, man.
and so this
There's
is
a 4
but
4 carrot in there.
Yeah.
In this
Yeah, dude.
catalog.
What? In the free one?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just signed up. It was that easy.
There's a 4 carrot.
super great. They source from all over the world. So this isn't like this thing where like they are the farmers of all the seeds. They do farm some of their seeds.
they test them.
They germinate, test, and grow all of their seeds. But they support small farmers from all over the world, non-GMO, you know, whatever, heirloom, you know, varieties that have been handed down generation to generation, selected, or you know, who knows what, you know, maybe there is some modification or some, you know, selection that's, you know, different than others throughout different parts of the world. And there's some wild asparagus that, you know, they're trying to source it, you know, it's kind of cool. I don't know too much back history, you know what I mean? As far as, you know, like ethics.
They've got so many things in there I've never seen, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Descriptions. They're also like a lot of them. I noticed they say like it's their favorite of this thing, but it's like they all say they're their favorites. Like
Staff
You
pick.
caught on.
It's always a favorite.
yeah, it's always one of the best flavors, and
These are ex-car salesmen turned seed salesmen.
but they're beautiful pictures, and they use their cute little kids. Like it's 10 out of 10.
These packs of seeds that I was just showing, the Save the Bees, there's one that's like Save the Hummingbirds and ones that save the Monarchs. Those are packs of seeds. They're quite large, man. They're like this is needed, man. This is a big pack of seeds. Like this would take care of, you know, a few hundred square feet easy and then grow, because a lot of these are perennials or annuals that will reseed themselves.
This is walking stick kale.
They have pistachio seeds.
That's cool.
That's
What'd you say?
Those leaves are
Do they have pistachio seeds?
I'm not sure.
I haven't seen nuts or anything like that.
Oh, they don't have nuts.
or the pistachio plant or the seeds. They might have peanuts and other stuff like
Peanuts would be cool too.
that. They may.
Mm.
We did order garlic,
Hold
like
that dang man down.
and some like German,
Yeah.
like some really good garlic,
We need
but
to
we didn't get a
plant it.
chance to plant it before the ground froze. So we're gonna have to like do a garage sowing this winter.
I think we
sometime.
can start it really early.
Super early, like,
And I
like
think-
February
I think-
early.
I
in the
think we
garage,
could still get
maybe.
a decent turnaround.
I do want to shout out. I mean, I'm not really going to be doing a ton of shouting out of like products and stuff. Yeah, you know, because you know,
Yeah.
But I do want to shout out Truth Market because they have these awesome varietal seeds packs that are like this. For example, has butterfly
Cool.
milkweed, New England aster, Siberian wildflower,
There's that here.
lance leaf, carposis, whatever that word is, purple coneflower, so echinacea, cosmos.
Dude, that purple coneflower is awesome, and the cosmos are cool
and
too.
that would be perennial if it come back. So a lot of these are like either perennials or annuals that will.
I'm all about perennials, dude. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
me
plant
too.
shit every year. I mean, I
Just
want to
deal with
set
some-
Us too, man. Perennials all over the place.
Oh yeah,
That's the way.
the lady has a great garden too. Perennials.
Dude,
Thanks.
her Hosta game is fucking like
She's got a great back.
looks fucking
Oh.
awesome.
Dude, that is thanks to my neighbor across the street, Barb. Thanks,
Barb?
shout out to Barb. When I moved in here, she took one look at me and was like, "Oh no, this chick is going to cause problems." And she came over and she she's been a smoker all of her life, and so she came over. I swear to God, I heard the Wicked Witch of the West music as she was walking across the street. Yep. And she came over to announce that this was a very quiet neighborhood and blah, 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 blah. So I knew that she was one of those kind of women, you know.
Yeah, keep it that way.
I got on her good side. I could tell that she was a gardener. I could tell by her yard. And so I was out there working in the yard and doing stuff. And so she slowly started coming over and saying, "Oh, it looks nice. So you're a gardener." And I'm like, "Yeah, I love to garden." And she'd come over with hostas that she would dig up and split and everything because she's a master gardener. And yeah, that's how I got all of my hostas, Skilbo, is from there. She just gave them to me. Like she would just split them and then I would, you know, plant them and then I would dig them up and split them up and
Well,
end up with all these plants. That's what's great about those.
split your shit among people
You
because
have to.
plethora.
Yep.
So-
Share the wealth.
Yeah, definitely. It's you can share the wealth. And I learned growing from my neighbor. My property that I bought was his sister's land. And so they had farmed it. And then when I moved in there, he's like, "This is what went on this land, and this is the possibilities you have." And I was like, "Okay, let's do something." And I was like all about green beans and everything. And I had a huge, big old property area that I tended. So that's how I got my start, was vegetables before cannabis. I mean, I've been growing vegetables and canning and all that great stuff of, you know, living off the land. So, and then that helped me incorporate the cannabis aspect of it. So that truly helped things, truly did.
I started with peppers, indoor even.
Peppers, yeah, peppers are great.
I would say that as great of the compliment, and I fucking love the compliments, guy. I really do appreciate it. It's so much hard work, and it's gratifying growing all this food and cannabis, and you know we love our outdoor organic gardens. It's Hannah Lady, you said master gardener. My Mama Red, she's a master gardener. Our yard, even though it might be a no-till or organic farmer's, you know, dream, is a master gardener's worst nightmare. I will admit that. Mama Red comes over here and she's just she can't believe all of the, you know, she calls weeds are everywhere. You know, for us it's
really
roots in the ground. You know, we manage it, and grasses and yeah, there's some stuff's unmanaged, but you know, like she understands how hard of work it is, you know, which is awesome. But yeah, it is a master gardener's worst nightmare because like the way that we, you know, just leaf mold, it's very, you know, it looks unkept if you were to look, you know, from a certain eye, but at the right eye, it is all serving a purpose, right? Everything kind of has a purpose. Yeah. Right now, we didn't really clean up our fall, you know, a lot of the stuff standing is knocked down, but like some of the stuff, sunflowers and stuff are still up there, but those are for, you know, like I said, we have these Save the Bees and stuff. They're for pollinators. You know, those are for, you know, whatever's going to overwinter in those plants are going to overwinter in there. And they might even stay up into next season. You know, we might not even get rid of those until.
Yeah, you never know.
Something will start breaking them down. When other stuff is starting to come up, maybe we'll use them as trellising in the future for like a vining plant, you know. So like I love our master gardeners, and you know we're gonna bridge the gaps. We're trying to bridge gaps, and that's what we're doing in our garden. Is we're trying to bridge the gap between the cannabis and the food community, because we're both fighting equally for rights and for freedoms, and for free markets equally. And I think that, you know, all of even the horticulturalist side for, you know, more for like the aesthetically pleasing botanical lover, you know, I think that there's an area where we can all
it's the power of the living soil. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're not
soil. Yeah. That's our connection. Our connection is
soil food web.
Well, it's the soil food web, and we should all be working as closely to that as we can.
Red, do you remember the name of the gentleman that was a guest on the Joe Rogan podcast like a couple months ago? That was like a 5th generation farmer. I think you guys brought him up.
I think it was Sam Willis, maybe. I want to say Sam Smith. I think it's Sam Willis. But yes, I did this. He was a cattle farmer, 5th generation cattle farmer.
Yeah. I mean, among many other things, I think
But he
he's
was a
got,
pop
you know,
sensation.
chickens and
Yeah,
pigs and
yeah. He's a permaculturalist. Yeah,
yeah, but he like basically converted, you know, in his time of
was a cattle farm. Yeah, I should say that.
yeah, he kind of converted from you know, it told the whole story of them just, you know, generations ahead of him, you know, finding out, you know, around that World War II era about this new way of farming essentially, and how that kind of permeated through, you know, all the way to him. And he's finally kind of changed things over the last decade or two, or maybe more. I'm not sure exactly, but it was just very informative podcast, and it really showed in real time, if you will, the change of perception. Yeah, man, of someone deeply rooted, and he called himself a good old boy. You know what I mean? He's like deeply rooted in the farming and agricultural industry. Still exists in it, but is you know, trying to change, you know, for
permaculture is the path, though, and I'm not trying to like spout propaganda or anything, but that is the way forward.
Yeah, man, I'm trying hard to find paths of propaganda through permaculture, and I can't find, because there's answers to a lot of questions or problems exist in permaculture. It's really not propaganda. It's not the save the ecosystem thing that some people might think that it, you know, that some people honestly think the regenerative movement is part of the climate change agenda and stuff, and it's not, man. It's real stuff. It's working.
It's science.
It's working.
You guys saying climate change is not real or science?
Definitely rattling with a long 10-foot pole away from that topic.
We're not going there.
The polarity science, maybe. But,
wait, throw out the ad. What's the tag?
Which we
Thursday night
to
at
come
10
back
p.m.
like season 2 at this point,
Skilbo.
because we've taken a hiatus because life's gotten busy. But no, man, like the deal is that, yeah, like he, and honestly, the author of this book, Polyface Micro, who is Joel Salatin, right there, he's doing a big, large scale farming, you know, freedom farmer type person. Like his original like deal was pasture poultry profits, which is how to like, you know, graze meat birds, meat chickens, and do that whole thing sustainably without high feed costs, high, you know, even acreage or anything like that, and to be able to even like do things like FDA certified and go through the proper loops. You know, these guys aren't, although like some of them will teach you the loopholes of all the industries, right? Because there are loopholes throughout this everything. A lot of them are FDA certified and like real deal, like you need a kitchen to make soap type people, you know? So there is regulation in everything, including market farmers making soap, you know, cosmetics and all. And some of those are heavily regulated industries. So we're all kind of fighting the same fight, with corporations leading the wave for regulation. You know what I mean? So back to the basics with a lot of this stuff. That's why we're kind of going back to the soil, where we can like help heal you know, we're learning about bacteria and stuff. I listened to Dr. Elaine Ingham talk, and a lot of what she says makes a lot of sense, you know, and she's been working some serious stuff. She showed some real proof, like with the roots, you know, showing the pictures and showing they're standing there with roots that have, you know, gone into non-compact soil because of what was previously compact soil that you'd get a 3 or 4 inch root on. You're getting 8 foot root, 8 foot roots.
Yes, but the part of the problem is that we've approached gardening / farming from a very input output standpoint. Like
Right.
we want to see immediate fucking results this season right now. And I'm telling you, man, when I ran that 4x8 grassroots fabric bed, it took me, you know, like 3 or 4 runs before the shit started to actually fucking acclimate and get good. And, you know, and it just kept getting better. You just keep dropping. The property that I've moved to for the last 45 years has been a small, I don't want to call it a farm. It's like a home garden and then a humongous English garden. And recently over the summer, I had to actually scrape away from the house because everything would just drop every year. So the soil had gotten to the point where it was like almost over the basement windows. So, you know, it caused all of the drainage and shit for like when it would rain and stuff, all the water would like wick towards the house and the sump pumps would run like just constantly. So I had to actually regrade things out because so much accumulation. You could throw almost anything in here and it'll grow. We went to Old Man's over the weekend, and you know he's on a 120-year-old farm, and his outdoor plants just fucking crank. Why? Because it's not new soil. It's been going on, man.
Well,
It takes time sometimes.
yeah. It was a pleasure to help him out this weekend. Shout out, Old Man. Had a good time.
Dude, shout out to that fucking I was wearing gloves when I was bucking off a bunch of garlic cane. And by the time I was done, Tara, when I left, I grabbed that too. So I sat there at the table, we
The
smoked
funny
another
thing
joint.
is, the gloves that he was wearing, he peels off, and we're cleaning up, we're putting things in this place and doing this, and I see these gloves, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna ask. I gotta ask. I was like, do you want to pitch these? Are you gonna peel
Everybody's like,
off?
fuck no.
No, I'm peeling it. I was like, all right, I just want to ask. But boy, these gloves were coated. Whew.
I hear you, DOG.
He's ready, man.
Howl at the Moon Saloon.
Out at the moon. We were gone most of the day. He's in his wanting to hang out mode.
Oh, goodness. We were
That's-
so bad yesterday, Red. We left dogs for 12 hours.
Oh yeah, that's
You're
that's
crazy ass fucking
that's
dogs
like-
anyway.
I know.
extreme. I try to
They were good though.
12, 13 hours is like the cutoff maximum. You know what I mean? If we got to go longer than that, we got to get
There's a ghost in the background.
So, Skilbo, did you even say how long the plants were hanging that you were taking down that left
No.
on your gloves?
No, those are
Right there.
those are 12 months that they have hung on a line, and we were cleaning the room out.
Months.
And so I had a large black tote, and I just started bucking it all off of there. And this is a huge fucking grow room too. It's like
Absolutely.
probably 20-foot tall ceilings in there, and it's probably 20 feet by at least.
I didn't
another
realize
20 feet.
all the space had like, as we were cleaning up, I went to the back room and then I was like, a wall got opened up and I was like, oh my God.
You've never
there's
seen that
no-
open before.
No. And I was like, what the fuck's this shit? Where's this? Oh my God. It was
Well,
huge.
it used to be an old a dude that owned the farm before that had a furniture shop there. So he used to build all that furniture, and that's why that barn is so fucking huge and well built.
It's
because that
awesome.
dude did it.
He really has a great setup. He really does. So
Yeah,
Shout
but
out
so
to-
I'm sitting here, and it was garlic cane, and I'm plucking all this shit off, man.
oh yeah.
Just the whole room, just
Yeah, we're not gonna
fucking
talk
reeks,
about the
man.
stupid crop cookies, so thank you.
well, it was only a couple of plants of those, and then I made the joke. I told Troy, I was like, "Hey, you want to make sure you take a traveler that home for the ride with Tara? I'm sure she'll enjoy smoking that." So,
No,
and that did not happen, I'm sure.
it did not happen at all. Ever. Ever.
So let's look at this pole painted lady. Where are we sitting at right now? We were
Yeah.
sitting on the
Oh,
nice
we're in-
number, and we've danced around it now.
I don't know. Our thing is, we were just trying to figure that out. Our poll is not working on our chat, so
So
I don't know.
Arise and Golden Goat is sitting at 68%.
Love it.
The
Mhm.
Sun Kiss, which is Platinum Tangy and Arise, is 15%. And Lady Marmalade,
Go,
which
go.
is the Mandarin Sunset and Arise, is clocking in at the magic number of 17%.
I actually voted for Arise and Golden Goat, so
There
Yeah.
you go.
cool.
Confirmation bias confirmed.
Love to go.
We have a consensus.
I
We
think
want
that's
to go.
awesome. I'm super excited. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, let's just hope that we have enough ceiling height for it now. No, we'll have to really
Yeah.
keep
Okay.
it.
Well, But I did.
But he's the grower, so he's
Okay.
going to have to make sure he
Up here.
keeps that all short.
Thumbs up there, bro.
No problem.
we'll see how it responds to the
Been there,
Jacks.
done that.
And yeah, I'm excited.
So far, I'm pulling Jackson soil right now and doing okay, dokie.
Yep.
I just got some free jacks yesterday, actually. So
Yeah.
I was meaning to tell Sequence that.
You made off like a bandit,
I didn't do too shabby, right?
boy.
The whole back of my truck was
Huh,
like,
filled
dude, I was
up.
like shoving shit like
He got
All right, cool.
some.
I didn't do too bad.
The thing was you like were talking to me about what you were planning to do, and then old man's like, "This is everything I got. Do you know anybody that can use that?" And I was like, yeah,
Yeah, no, right there, man.
right there.
Nice. That's awesome. That
Oh, yeah.
Out perfect.
Exactly.
Picked it out.
Yeah, man. I do want to say this because we haven't said it at one time during the show, but I hope that everybody is in live chat. And if you haven't given the show a thumbs up by now, we would appreciate
And
it.
totally missing Spartan tonight. I hope he feels okay
Get well soon, brother. Yeah.
tomorrow and he's back to his old self, and it's just a 24-hour bug. And
It screws up the Spartan Sunday because, a lot of people start over there at Growing with My Fellow Growers. Shout out to them. That's over on the Cheap Home Grow channel at 7 p.m. Eastern. Because then they slide right over here with him at 9 p.m. with us, rock and roll. So I know there's some people out there missing you tonight.
yeah, totally missing him. Missing his insight and his
Poking the stick with baked and getting baked going, like we.
Oh, I know. I missed
whacked
that
off of that, man.
odd couple thing. It's like
The odd couple thing.
What are some things we talked about tonight where he would have just taken the direct beeline route, like we were trying to overcomplicate
He already did
things?
that in chat.
Got him from chat.
Did he?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
with the
missed it.
seed thing, the seed thing, it was like, it was with the group that's saying, microbes are made for that crap. So, I knew that. I was like, I knew if he saw this, he was gonna be like, just put it in the soil.
Put it in the
Microbes
root
have been
rack,
around
bro.
for 1,000,000 years.
Yeah, there you go.
I-
Got there eventually.
well, I don't do any soaks. I don't do any paper towels. I just put it into soil, and that's why I kind of like. It's been a discussion between Nutry and I because he's cocoa guy and I'm a soil person. So
Ooh.
we're
Do
going.
whatever works for you, Terry. If you've had success, do it that way.
I got a question for you guys that got presented to me, a last minute question here. Someone asked me today, can you taste the difference in herb that was grown in, say, soil versus cocoa versus rockwool? Can you
No.
taste that difference?
No.
I wouldn't say that. I would
I
say
can tell
more.
well grown versus mid
I
grown.
can taste the new difference.
Yeah.
Depends on what it was grown in.
Yeah.
Period. Even in the soil, like what additives were tossed. It really depends. It depends on what I can taste. Like I think I
You're
can.
not going to go, this is definitely organic bud, and I can't be
No.
questioned. You know what I mean? It's
I
like,
can
hey,
either taste
you did a great job,
flour,
man.
or I can taste what you bulked the flour with. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
one or the other, and I think that it applies to both sides of that spectrum.
To me,
Okay,
it comes
people
down to
get
the dry and
hydroponic.
cure more than anything. But yeah, I mean, I can't taste the difference.
Oh yeah, dry and cure always has a difference too. But boy, I can taste the difference between some Nectar of the Gods. Definitely.
Versus
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
else.
Or oh yeah, definitely can take. Oh yeah, I can taste it. And I've had all. See, that's the thing. I get the pleasure of having everybody's stuff, so I get to taste all of the different things, and I definitely can taste differences between everybody's things, and I can place it and know
You know
it.
what I would say? I would counter with this is that almost all of us have grown GMO at one point or another. And not only us, but our friends as well that aren't on the show. So at a get together, you always expect to smoke some GMO or a GMO cross.
Mm-hmm.
You do taste differences, but I think that's more grower than it is, you know what I mean? Because that's like a cut. It's not like a pack of beans where it's like, oh, so-and-so's Trop Cherry was better than this one. And it's like, well, that was a bean pop, something like a clone only. When you put it through the different paces in different growers' hands, is it the process? Is it the person? I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's one way to find out. We all just grow the same.
Just
cut,
grow
right?
GMO again, right? Okay.
Well, I was thinking a different cut than GMO, but you know what I mean. Like, we should all grow the same cut.
I got it. Grow me some GMO.
If,
But you're
okay,
gonna-
here's a question for you guys. Another, or maybe rapid fire question because we're getting down to the wire here. Like if we could all agree on growing one strain, what would that be?
Oh God, that's hard.
'Cause,
GG4.
yeah, she's all anti.
not gonna agree.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm. But we got okay. If we were all put in a closet, like a really small space, some claustrophobic shit, and told, you can't leave until you guys all agree on a strain. What's it gonna be? And there's no smoke in that room, no hot box.
Nothing will grow until this is decided and chopped and harvested and dried and cured.
I mean, ultimately, you're looking for an all-day good smoke that is appealing to the taste and the high to get you through the day. I feel like
Sour diesel.
Oh, I could get behind that.
We could do that.
Which
And,
one?
I was gonna go with the East.
Something that reminds me of early 2000s, I guess.
Chernobyl, man.
I think that's the right way to say
Oh,
that.
Chernobyl.
Oh, I like the AJ's cut so far
Ugh.
because my buddy's been trying them all.
yeah, well, you lose me there.
Oh no.
You don't like sour D?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Wow.
I could
What
live
do
with
you
GMO
like,
or
Tara?
Donnie.
I've never met someone
But-
say that I don't like sour diesel.
And the-
Yeah.
I mean,
the
there's
only
people that are like,
reason I
can't
said-
stand it. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
My favorite.
The only reason I say is you need something without a ceiling. If we're gonna be
I
stuck
agree.
with it forever.
Smoke
So
more,
like
get
for
more.
me, Donnie
Yeah.
and GMO, they do that.
What about a golden goat or something like that? Because that's kind of I feel like that's
We're
one
all
of
going to
those-
be fucking on
That's
edge.
It's like Citric. I like Citric is one of those like all day smokes kind of situation that you can like.
That's why I say Chernobyl. Because
Okay.
it's lime.
Citric is tiny.
That lime, yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I love Citric. I can smoke on
Greasy,
that all the
lime.
time.
Well, I wish we could stream all night, but we are in the final minute of the show, and I would be remiss not to say thank you for joining us this evening. Hopefully, you guys can come back through tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time before the late sesh.
It'll
Other
blow
than
your
that,
mind.
We've ran the gamut as usual.
Cheers,
I'm
y'all.
gonna have a new thing. I'm gonna have a new thing tomorrow.
You are.
Whoa.
Oh,
Dang.
God. Tomorrow.
This is the teaser, the
Oh
the
my God.
suspense.
Oh,
A
yeah.
new thing.
Tuggle.
You think comes to a Tuesday?
What is the thing though? Oh wait, you're gonna make us wait 48 hours now? The teaser.
I don't know. Well, now that she said it's certainly going to come tomorrow, it might not come until Tuesday because
Oh, goodness.
Maybe after midnight.
Can't wait.
let's hope that it comes tomorrow, though. Everybody put your
Yeah.